Hello everyone. Thanks so much for coming back to my channel. This is D. Maria Reacts and my name is Dion. So, there's been a heck of a lot going on in the world. I was going to say in the country, but in the world. Um, Even since the election, I came across this video and I wanted to react to it.
You will
Deal with
persist.
This time that means he needs 23 more.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Trump, Trump, baby, all day we won.
Hollywood stars sharing their reactions after election night 2024. Donald Trump returning to the White House after his decisive victory over Vice President Kamala Harris.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time.
Among the disappointed crowd, Christina Applegate getting right to the point on X, writing, "Please unfollow me if you voted against female rights and disability rights. What you did is unreal." And on Instagram, Oscar...
Against disability rights. It depends on what you consider to be a disability. Oh my gosh, they're so dramatic.
Winner and mother to a trans daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis.
We're all real people, and we live in a world that is at war.
She says Trump's win means a sure return to a more restrictive, some fear draconian time. Gay and trans people will be more afraid. Adding, for all those people, there will be those who will help you, me included.
We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly.
In reference to Trump's sexual assault allegations, Aubrey O'Day figuring, quote, "The only thing that America hates more than a sexist, racist rapist is a woman." Then Lily Reinhart saying of Trump's alleged victims, "My heart absolutely breaks."
America does not hate. They are so dramatic. Just stop with the foolishness because it didn't work. Y'all still want to hold on to that. I mean, you need to change your vocabulary because the foolishness is not working.
For these women, I believe you and I am so sorry.
These are our friends. We have thousands of friends.
Trump, by the way, posted earlier on X a copy of a letter signed by Stormy Daniels where she said that there was no sexual relationship between the two of them.
Friends in this incredible movement.
Meanwhile, Trump supporters Amber Rose and Savannah Chrisley posting the victory vibes from their overnight watch parties.
Y'all, it happened. That's all I have to say. It happened. Our future in 4 years. It's a hell of a lot better than what we think. Trump, Trump, baby, all day we won. That's it. It's over with.
Hey, look.
We love our country. Yes, we do.
Look what happened. Is this crazy?
When it comes to next steps, Jonathan Van Ness, Andy Cohen, plus Real Housewives alum Bethany Frankel offering their 2 cents amid mixed emotions in Hollywood.
We will persist. We will move forward.
Gotta dance with the one who brung you. The decision has been made. The die has been cast, and people have to move forward, unite, and the divisiveness has not worked. Everyone has to agree on that.
We're going to keep showing up. We're going to keep working together. We're going to be okay. I love you. We are going to be okay.
Here's something that is so utterly pitiful to happen to the Vice President of the United States of America. Watch this.
Man.
Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Right there. Did y'all hear that? She never says the Pledge of Allegiance, apparently. Or if she does, she doesn't mean it. We all know she hates America.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So that went completely viral in the last couple of days. Tisk, tisk, tisk. So one of the things that has happened within the last couple of days is President Jimmy Carter has passed away. He lived to the ripe old age of 100 years old. Back during his presidency, I was a child, and I certainly didn't pay attention to politics. But recently, I heard someone give him a compliment after always hearing that he was probably one of the worst presidents of the United States for multiple different reasons. But one of the things that he was complimented on was his ability to bring about a peaceful interaction between Egypt and Israel back around 1973, 75, and I had heard that it's something that has still been a very positive interaction even to this day, 50 some odd years later. So I did want to take a moment to just reflect on the life of President Jimmy Carter. So let's check it out.
As we are seeing people stand on the roadside just for a few seconds to say thank you to the 39th president, Jimmy Carter.
39th.
Yeah, and right now that procession, which we just saw go through Plains, is headed to Archery, Georgia. And that is where Jimmy Carter's childhood home is. And Guy was just asking how far Archery is from Plains, and you said,
oh, it's less than 2 miles.
Yeah.
Just right down the road, but in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there was nothing there. It was a few, his Sears Roebuck house that was put together in the 20s. No running water when he was growing up, an outhouse, no electricity. Jimmy Carter was he was born in 1924, but he essentially grew up in the 19th century and survived into the 21st century. It's a really long, amazing life.
Is it fair to say, by the way, Dana, that this may be one of the final, if not the final chapter of the Greatest Generation? You know, there was a lot of talk about it within, last 10 or 15 years, and we've seen the Greatest Generation, all these World War II heroes who have, passed on, and Jimmy.
It does feel like there's this kind of wistful nature about this, a nostalgia for an earlier time when politicians were more authentic. I mean, he was born between World War I and the Great Depression, right? And this is somebody who was the first president born in a hospital. And as we said, grew up without running water and electricity. And I think that's and a self-made president.
He, up to that point, was the first president to be born in a hospital? Wow. The Democratic Party back then was a very different Democratic Party than of today. To hear someone say he was about traditional values, that's not what you would hear regarding a Democratic Party. Rather, a Democratic president nowadays.
Of 1979 that's called the so-called malaise speech. He never actually used the word malaise, but it's a most unusual speech, and I urge everyone to look it up. It's an extraordinary record of his thoughts. Well, it's a sermon. It's sort of a Southern Baptist sermon, and he's preaching against this culture that he sees of narcissism that is sweeping across America, where Americans tend to worship too much self-indulgence and consumption, material goods, and it's about It's about America's two conflicting values.
It's amazing. It doesn't sound like he's talking about a Democratic president, according to the way I would think of a Democratic president nowadays.
Individualism, individual freedom versus community. And Carter wanted to emphasize, to remind people that you cannot have individual freedom unless you have community.
And you mentioned his boyhood home. That's what we're seeing right now.
Yes.
The motorcade is pulling up.
That's the windmill that pumped the water.
The simplicity of that house, of his boyhood there, as you said, no running water, no electricity, and here he returned. So many values we can learn from Jimmy Carter, just this emphasis on community, as you said, and kinship, and seeing other folks as brothers and sisters, and here he is, and going through this area for the final time.
Yeah, the peace relations between Egypt and Israel back then that Jimmy Carter helped out with, I had heard that he actually won the Nobel Peace Prize for it. Okay, so I found a little something on it. So it's just saying, let's see, the Nobel Peace Prize, it was in 2002. The Nobel Peace Prize of 2002 was awarded to Jimmy Carter for his decades of untiring effort to find peaceful solutions to international conflicts, to advance democracy and human rights, and to promote economic and social development. In the United States, George Bush was planning war on Iraq. In the autumn of 2002, former President Jimmy Carter was awarded the Peace Prize for undertaking peace negotiations, campaigning for human rights, and working for social welfare. According to the chairman of the Nobel Committee, Carter ought to have been awarded the prize as early as 1978. That's it, when he successfully mediated a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. The high point of his presidential term was the peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. Thereafter, he experienced several setbacks in his foreign policy, such as the conflict with Iran, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't want to get into that. I was just curious about more of this peace agreement. So anyway, I'm not going to go too deep, but I wanted to point out that positive thing about Jimmy Carter, and something that he did during his presidency that we as all Americans can be proud of. So that is that. So here's something about a week old. Let's check this out. It says, have you heard what just happened to Jill Scott? No, what happened? She is a singer. She sings what they call neo soul. Beautiful voice. She has done some acting, within the last decade or so, I guess. I actually love her voice. Let's see what in the world has happened to Jill Scott. Around the park.
You love me specially different. I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden. Why does my body ignore what my mind says? I fell asleep beneath the flowers.
I heard you punched Anita Baker in the face.
Of course, I just mean fight for my dignity and fight for my rights and, my position in life. We had a disagreement, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She can't swing on Anita Baker.
Jill Scott. The name that can make you swoon 1 minute and side-eye the next. Sure, she's got that honey-dripped voice and lyrics that hit you right in your feelings.
I just need more.
But don't let the soulful vibes fool you. Behind the mic, Jill's life has been a whirlwind of headline-grabbing drama, personal ups and downs, and a few scandals that had everyone talking. From fiery Twitter takes to backstage showdowns and messy love stories, Jill's journey is as unpredictable as it is iconic. So let's spill some real talk about the woman who keeps it raw, keeps it real, and keeps us all guessing. Jill Scott, the queen of soulful anthems and unapologetic empowerment, found herself smack in the middle of a firestorm. And no, it wasn't from hitting one of her legendary high notes. It all popped off with one tweet. Just one. Jill took to social media and casually called Chris Brown amazing, praising his singing, dancing, acting, and rapping like she was his PR manager. Seemed innocent enough, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. The internet lit up faster than a 4th of July barbecue. People were not having it. They came for Jill's entire existence, dragging her name through the mud and pointing straight to Chris Brown's notorious past, specifically his 2009 assault on Rihanna. Fans were shook. How is Mrs. A Long Walk out here hyping up a man with that history? The comments screamed. They called her a hypocrite, a sellout, and questioned how someone who built a career on empowerment and respect could turn around and uplift someone so controversial.
That was a long time
But Jill, she wasn't about to sit back and take the heat. Instead of retreating with a...
You know, one thing that I cannot stand about this world is, as messed up as this world is, they lock into unforgiveness. I mean, once something happens, a person does something, makes a mistake, I don't care how long it's been, they don't let you live it down. And I'm not, I'm not for Chris Brown like that. And I'm not like a fan, extreme fan of any of these people. I mean, they have work that I like, but them as people, I should say, I probably would tend to have a lot not in common with them, besides our ethnicity, perhaps. But yeah, this world just will not let anybody live anything down. It's like if you do something wrong, or you do something that's like against mainstream viewpoint, there's no coming back. You're never going to the whole thing about canceling. It's like, for this world to be so hell-bound, they have the nerve to withhold forgiveness. I mean, they are more judgmental than God himself. I'll put it like that. This world is more judgmental than God himself. Even God himself will forgive if you go to him, of course, and ask for forgiveness, and that will indicate that there has been a complete change in your mind. Repenting is not just apologizing, but there has to be a complete, there's a whole process involved there, and you make a complete 180, basically, which, I have no way of knowing that happened with Chris Brown or anybody else, but I'm just saying, they give no benefit of the doubt, this world. But this world is hellbound. Without Christ, they're hellbound. Anyway, I'm going to finish checking this out. Let's see what it says. Let's see what they're saying. Because she fought back.
Carefully crafted apology, she doubled down. She stood her ground, saying, listen, we need to separate the artist from the art.
I say it like this: if you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do.
Damn. Then she went deeper, opening up about her mother's abusive ex-husband and the complicated ways people reconcile talent with trauma. To her, Chris Brown's artistry deserved its own spotlight, separate from his personal scandals. Cue more backlash. The internet wasn't buying it. So we're just out here giving passes to abusers now, critics clap back. For days, Jill's name was trending, with think pieces, hashtags, and memes flying faster than a viral TikTok. While some fans appreciated her vulnerability, most weren't here for the explanation, calling it a deflection. The drama didn't just fade overnight. It left a stain on Jill's public image. She may have weathered storms before, but this one hit differently. It was a reminder of just how quickly the internet can turn on you, no matter how beloved you are. And let's face it, the next time Jill logs on to tweet, you know she'll be thinking twice. And let's get into that Anita Baker mess, shall we? Listen, when VH1's Divas Live announced Jill Scott...
I don't know when all this happened. Let me look at this again. This is Stardust Daily, and this was 8 days ago. Are they talking about events that happened recently? Let me see. So she had a falling out, evidently, with another singer, Anita Baker.
Scott and Anita Baker were teaming up for a duet of Sweet Love. The hype was real. Fans were practically salivating at the thought of these two powerhouse vocalists sharing a stage. Jill Scott with her poetic flair, and Anita Baker, the queen of smooth as silk ballads. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, everything. Word on the street is that Jill wasn't exactly jumping at the chance to rehearse with Anita.
2013.
We just had a disagreement.
Whether it was scheduling conflicts, creative differences, or just plain diva vibes. Things got tense and fast. Producers tried to play peacekeeper, but apparently it wasn't enough. Anita, known for her no-nonsense attitude and high standards, wasn't having it. Rumor has it she left the venue in tears just hours before showtime. Can you imagine? A legend storming out of her own duet. The drama was thick enough to cut with a knife. The media had a field day. Was Jill throwing shade? Was Anita being a diva? Who was the real villain here? Everyone had an opinion, but no one had answers. Eventually, Jill broke her silence, and her response? Let's just say it didn't quite clear the air. She admitted there was a disagreement, but insisted it was overblown.
I heard you punched Anita Baker in the face.
That's a terrible lie. Of course, I just mean fight for my dignity and fight for my rights and, you know, my position in life.
Y'all did get into it once, though, right?
Not really. We had a disagreement, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She can't swing on Anita Baker now.
Who would?
Swing on whoever disrespects you.
Not Anita Baker.
No.
Anita Baker is a hero to me, Jill said, as if to smooth things.
People are always starting drama. Ugh. So this is old news. I thought this was something recent. Well, that is all I have for this evening. Until next time, y'all have a great night. Great, thank you.